What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen? Day traders, cloud swing traders. Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys are feeling good. We got Alan House. Good morning to you. Good morning to Albert, Anna, Andy, Bill, Brad, Christopher, Cindy, Daniel, Dragon, Jeff, Joe, JT's in the house. Good morning to Lauren, Lucian, Marius, Martina, Mike, T, Flo, Virginia, all my people out of YouTube land. Mustafa in the house. Good morning to you. Good morning to all my larkers in the background of YouTube. Just not gonna say nothing all day. It's okay. I still love you. Hit that like and subscribe button and we just start the week exactly where we left off, although we're like 36 hours ish, or no, we're like 72 hours. Yeah, about 72 hours away from Jerome Powell, give or take a couple hours. So we'll have definitely some big week in terms of news, and we'll finally get results that the market has literally spent. I think it was the last just under a year. I think was the last rate cut. Where was it? November, I believe, last year. So it's been almost 10 months, about 10 months since the last rate cut, and we've just been waiting and figuring out when and how much and all this stuff. We finally get results this week on Wednesday, and we'll have some more concrete information. Otherwise, if this didn't look like we were just buying into what we expect to be certain news, I don't know what else does. It doesn't mean that we're going to go lower on the rate cut. I think if the market gets what they want, there's really no resistance higher than here. Yeah, maybe we run up today, tomorrow, who knows, even on Wednesday. I think at some point we're probably getting pretty far extended. I think what's the next catalyst at that point? If he comes in and goes half, let's go quarter cut point, and we're just gonna get real excited again for another quarter cut in another month, and we could kick that one down the road for. I don't know. I don't know what the next news is, but we're getting frothy. We are very frothy in the market. I don't have any protection. I don't have any puts on the table. So we'll see. I'm just waiting because again, over here, it looked like we maybe should get some puts. Actually, I think I did take advantage of that drop. I think I did take advantage of this drop. I think I missed that one. So I still made a little bit of money on these small down moves. But if you're waiting for that big one, if you're going all in on puts, even up here, and just refusing to sell, doing the same thing over here, you're missing out on a lot more money than just playing the same direction that we've been in. So until I see something fundamentally change, and it doesn't even have to be the news, and then I start guessing what where the market, I'm just gonna wait for the market to tell me that the ride is over and maybe we're in for a little bit of a bigger dip. And if we could get that candle pattern, the technicals to line up, cool. Otherwise, even if this thing drops, I'm going to give some of those gains back if I have no protection whatsoever on the table. And there'll be a point where if this thing gets really bad, really ugly, again, we're talking about this at all-time highs. So I'm not hitting fear panic buttons, but just know that there is more room, obviously higher to go from here. But there's a big Jerome Powell event coming out this week, so we'll see. For today, yesterday, Friday was a little bit more of a, I guess, inside day candle. Nothing too crazy. Looks like a breakout arrest. That would be a three bar play if Thursday had a little bit more volume on it, but um, no crazy volume on that one. However, today Bulls want to run it up. It is a gap and go from Friday. I don't know if I trust it. I think that's going to be more of a retest gap. We shall see. But if we get a little pullback, 658.24 to the higher side, your guess is as good as mine. We'll see where we'll see where the dice lands, I guess. You got Q's a little bit more of a dominant looking retest gap. So you have 2 days in a row that are green. Even that red candle was honestly just a retest gap. So a couple days in a row of people that were buying. We do have higher bids each day. And I think again, this has a little element to a retest gap, although opening at all-time highs. Pretty impressive for what happened to Foot Locker. They always change things on me. Did they change Foot Locker's still in business, right? They didn't just noticing the little ticker over there. Maybe changed indices again. You got Qs. Yeah, I'm looking for a retest, a full-on retest. If we get it 586.64, we'll see what happens for the Qs. BTC, USD, little Bitcoin. William says Tesla, please. What type of gap? Yep, Anna wants Tesla as well, and Tessie has a little bit of news on it too, so we'll check that out in a second. Bitcoin pulling back a little bit. Not a not a bad place to pull back. So we had some kind of next target right into this 116,704. We tried to break through it slightly a few times, and looks like we're just pulling back. But this notably is a much bigger, I think, pullback from a bullish move. This is also probably let's do this real quick. Do a quick little fib. I think this pullback where we landed also kind of lines up perfectly with the 50% retracement. So just remeasuring this, maybe we get some little bit of a deeper pullback on Bitcoin. We'll see. Into like 112, 119, I think would be your next spot. Bulls probably trying to sit to wait, see if they could buy it back up. But or if you get some craziness, Bitcoin hates Jerome Powell's move on Wednesday. Maybe you're down back to this 109,946. We'll see if a double bottom wants to hold. If not, you do have your 200 slightly right below you, somewhere around 105. So lots of different levels of support. This looks like we just ran up and probably trying to pull back a little bit on Bitcoin. So crypto not as strong. Let's take a look at Tesla since multiple people want to. Nice little breakout on Wednesday. Great follow through. Incredible follow through on Friday. I don't want to talk about it because it missed me. Uh, Really good gap up today. So now you're opening. I think the highest I saw was roughly about 430. So you slightly pulled back about $2.50 from there. But you have Elon Musk buying. I think I think he put another $1 billion of shares to buy in open markets on Friday. He was doing it in different lot sizes. I think the biggest one he had was like 300,000 shares in one lot. But yeah, on a technical basis, and I think that might be the biggest buyback by one individual CEO of a company, I think ever. A little unfair on that debate. It probably should go percentage wise of wealth because he's also that's the other thing too. He was the richest guy. I saw some reports that the guy from Oracle last week took over as the richest guy. I don't know if that's true. There could be some fake news, possibly. I only saw one article on it. But if Elon saw at least saw that same article, and then he's like, "Man, I want to be," and then he just starts buying his shares back. I don't know what the motivation was for Elon to buy shares, but he indeed bought a lot of shares on Friday. That is causing a huge looking rally for today. William says, "What kind of gap is this? This is without a doubt a retest gap. You have bullish strong buying 2 days in a row. The last candle really good. So here's how you look at retest gaps, and we'll just use a little time to just kind of cover this because I think it's important for everybody. But if you were buying shares here, if you were buying shares here, if you bought shares here right at the close of Tesla, most people buying shares in the market, especially retailers, um, that don't do this full time, that are not day traders, they're not swing traders, they work 9 to 5s, they just want exposure to the market. There's nothing wrong with that. But most of the time, they have no idea why something goes up. They either read an article somewhere, they had a gut feeling, they like the color of the company logo, whatever the reason is that they like to buy it. If they were buying shares at any of those spots, they waited 2 days and they are up a lot of money today, right? So even though this is a very bullish signal for Tesla, the fact that we're up here, most people are going to wake up and go, I have a lot more money than I had before. Let me lock those gains in, right? And that selling drives the price back. So two bullish days in a row of buying, strong buying on that last one, good volume. Thank you, Elon. I think that's half that candle is probably Elon himself. But this is where you probably get that fade. So that being said, the other thing I look for gap and goes to see to a retest gaps or gap and goes. I'm looking at resistance as well. You have a little bit of resistance that would take us up to about 433.58, essentially almost where we got to. If we can start breaking through that, I think your next target to the higher side probably takes you to about 455.05. but I would not probably be buying Tesla at open. I think buying dips on Tesla makes sense. But coming down to like 417.79, I think would be kind of an interesting spot to start to look, and then even down to like 416, something like that. If we start to break that, I think your next level would be we close right into a really big resistance from back in January 10th, early this year, which is crazy because now Tesla's been down most of the year. It's been one of the few stocks that has actually been down this year from your open. Now you finally got a breakout. But I think if you come back, you retest that fully, that is a spot you'd be very interested to buy. I don't know. It's a good move, good catalyst behind it. Elon, I don't know if he knows something. He is the CEO. He would be the one that would know something. But worst case, that builds confidence into, okay, well, cars aren't doing too good. What else does Elon have brewing that he's so confident to buy $1 billion worth of shares? So definitely bullish move. Definitely bullish move. But yep. Lauren, at least makes me feel better with my thought process. Let me see what you guys are talking about. We got Cindy says I had calls expiring on this coming Friday. I don't like those close. Yep. UGG. Nice profit. Got you. Palantir from Bill PLTR. There's well check how many shorts there are in Tesla. Mustafa, good point. Very, very valid. There is the short squeeze factor of it. Hmm. That could push it, but if it's got to have a high short float. I don't know. I haven't checked Tesla in a while. Do they have a high short float? There's a lot of bears losing money on that gap today. That's absolutely for sure. You got Palantir. Again, good closing price. Nobody bought $1 billion worth of shares of Palantir over the weekend, so that ran into strong resistance. You got one more resistance, which I think is an impressive one. If we could actually get to that one, I think we probably end up breaking it after a couple tries, but 173.02. Otherwise, for today, a little bit of a gap down, so pulling back after a strong kind of pop. I think this is right around. I'm just eyeballing this, but let's do a quick fib on it. I think this would probably take us into 618, just about. So that almost ran us into that 618 of that last down move. We're pulling back a little. I'm not saying that this thing is just going to crash from this point, but pretty big down move originally. Nice double bottom. Maybe due for a little pullback into some kind of eventual support. 161.61. Before we even get to that, I'm looking at today's support, see if we hold that. So if we do pull back 167.34 to the higher side, watch for that resistance 170.97. I'd probably be boxing those two levels off. And then if you break any more, be looking for the next kind of targets in both directions on that one. Crowd weave or core weave. I don't know. I always call it crowd weave. Uh, core weave. That's a gap and go. Not the strongest gap and go I've seen. You are breaking through two red days. Both of those days for the more or less inside of that last big green candle, tons and tons of volume on it. We dipped below at one point below that candle, so anybody that hung on might be using this opening price as a way to say, okay, let me just take my gains. I can't believe I was buying it after this big gap up. That being said, I still like this gap. Um, I think if you get a little pullback, I think that's how it wants to react. There is one support over here, which we're opening slightly above 121.25. If we can stay above that, it might. I like it bullish. I like it bullish from here. That might take us into 128.36. I wouldn't be surprised if we get all the way back here to this 119.83. So it depends on where this one wants to open, and we're just dancing around this level. But I'd consider being bullish at 120.91, and then if it starts to break through, then I'm just holding off to 119.53. But very close for core weave, about $1 in between. So yeah, I like it bullish. Next target for me probably takes me into roughly about this one. We'll call it 128, but somewhere right around 128.14-ish, roughly around there. But really good gap. We'll put this one higher on the list as well. Sometimes it trades a little bit like a maniac, but It is what it is. Affirm, AFRM. We have decent gap. I think where this one opens is going to be more important. Right now, it's on the fence. Technically, it is a retest gap from Friday. We're still in this little downward trend, small downtrend. Still got the support of the 20 EMA. If we could open, I think above 84.40, that might set us up. We have a few psychological levels at that point, 85.13, and then probably somewhere right around 85.72. Otherwise, real target for me would take me to about 87.18. If we open below where we're pretty much opening now, so anywhere below 84.40, again, you might see that full on retest. I wouldn't put that out of the question. Decent odds for it, 83.33. But you also have one other level of support, which would take us into probably 84.11. So a little bit of support down here. It is a retest gap. Maybe if you look for like a high wave candle, something to take a break, trap some bears today at open, plus also entry somewhere above, let's go 84.45, something like that. If you want to try this thing bullish, looks good. Does definitely has some room, a little bit of room. If we get through some of those psychological levels, which I think we should. Let's see. There was one more in there, and the chat got moved. Let's see. SoFi. That could make all-time high and extension on Tesla. Yeah, all of the analysis on Tesla, by the way. So if you're a Tesla bull, and I'm telling you that, yeah, this looks like a retest gap, it doesn't mean Tesla's going to zero. I'm talking like very short time frame. Otherwise, really, really good gap up. I think you got some extra confidence in Tesla. I wouldn't put all-time highs out of the question. I'm talking for today. I don't know if I want to be the buyer at open. I think I'd try to get a little bit better pricing. So yeah, don't construe different time frames. Um, Long term though, Tessie, that's a great move on Tessie. Finally starting to break out. You got SoFi is beautiful looking gap. Is that all time highs? No, not quite. Almost, but not quite. Next target for SoFi, $28.25 would be the next psychological level. Um, we've been buying into this little gap up. It's a retest gap from Friday. Both of those are inside. I kind of want to play it off this one, which is a little bit more gap and go-ish. Yeah, let's see what the first couple candles on this one wants to do. Would love to see a high wave candle on this one. Give me some indecision. I've got indecision, so maybe the rest of the market does too. I would love to see at least a little bit of a pullback. Doesn't have to. I don't think it has to for me. 26.54 would be a full-on retest. I don't think it has to hit that. I think even come down to retest into probably 26.88 would be a decent, relatively good spot to try to catch a day trade on it. So we'll see. Yep, we got that one higher. LMND. Interesting double bottom on a daily, not bad. Pretty good gap. Again, just like SoFi, a little bit different. Where you're almost gapping into all-time highs on SoFi. This has got some resistance in the way. But you have 2 days of buying. So that would be, if you're just looking at nothing but the candle, if we black out everything else, you got a green candle, expecting a little bit of a pullback. You, I would, both of those days are inside this one. I think this one's a little bit more of a dominant candle. You also had a little bit more volume on that candle as well. So I think a little bit of a chop open, but I'd be leaning bullish. I'd see if this one could pull back at least to 54.73. Watch what it does there. If it starts to break, again, small support. I don't think this one holds 54.39. I think you're probably looking for a retest into maybe about 53.70 if you get it. But then on a day trade basis, you got to recapture and climb through all those resistance. So a little bit tough. If at some point we start breaking through 55.36, then you do have some room up to like 56.97. But I think that's a pretty good resistance we're opening into. I think you have some bulls on this one that are a little bit profitable. Long-term basis, this looks like a nice pullback, good double bottom. Probably goes higher from here, especially with lower interest rates coming in. I think Lemonade would be candidate for benefiting off of lower interest rate. Let me get this one a little bit higher. Oh yeah, Baba too. Baba is opening it up with a nice gap as well. Again, retest gap. Baba does some crazy things. Momentum wise is let's see, is there any? Hmm. Yep, gapping. Not all time highs, but nice little gap up on this one. In a longer term sense, where's our list? I mean, we've had some really good bearish volume candles on this one. We're starting to take them all out, opening into a slight little resistance. I think if this one could break through 160, next level up, big level, 160, 147. If we get closing above that, I think we're going to continue to move much higher from here on Baba. But it looks pretty fantastic so far, and it's again, I'd still be cautious, even though I own shares of it and I'm a long-term holder. I'm not going to be shocked if I give back all these gains today in that position. Doesn't mean I'm selling, but it just means just because your broker tells you you're up today, I think this is a retest gap. I think at some point we probably come back to retest 155.86 or 155.14, especially with a little bit of a longer term resistance right in front of us. QS Quantum Scape looks annoyingly good. All right, that's got to go up. Mm, put it about here. Wide open runway. $10.75 first target. That's 65 cents on a $10 stock. Not too shabby. Next target, bigger resistance would be $11.24. Again, let's recreate what this chart looks like. The last couple days, we open up here, we close right around here. We get price action through here, price action through here. That wick is much bigger. You're just at the very high end of a big high wave indecision candle at this point. So I think it's much bigger wick. You got some more buying than you do small selling. I think you probably get a little bit of a pullback on this one. It is technically a retest gap, and I think longer term bullish is the way to go. Probably again, I do love the fact that you are. I kind of like the close more than the open. That Friday close I like a lot more. Here's your big red candle on a monster gap. Good volume on it. Your VPOC is roughly around 955. I think as soon as we broke that, that's telling me that the bears are terrified. And we are probably going to want to go higher from here. That close kind of solidified it. I would think that. So again, I like the fact that we're right at or slightly above that the opening price of that candle. That's a good psychological level. I think I'd wait for a pullback. I'd see if we get a retest at least a 995. Otherwise, a full-on retest takes you into like 977, maybe even come back down. We have not come back down to retest as 957, which is that VPOC from over here yet. We just broke and just kind of ran. So I'd want to see it pull back a little bit, but that is a good sentiment for QS if you're holding in a swing, if you're holding for a long term. That is a good place to close on Friday. Let's see, which ones am I missing? We talked, Mike says Palantir. We talked about that. Mustafa says MSTR. Mm, I don't have a huge edge today on it. I think the only thing I really got going for me is potentially a risk reward, which is coming off of this candle. Even with that breakdown candle, there was some volume. I'm not sure which one this is. This is, yeah, this volume right here. Yeah, it's some volume, nothing too crazy. We've definitely seen bigger volume candles before. Even on this green candle, you saw more volume. That was us getting above right into that 200 EMA, and we're still below this one. I think from a longer term perspective, if we are taking out 335.04, we have a shot to use this as some kind of support, and then we start to break from here. Um, where that risk reward comes in is if we can do that, which right now is not a great open. But if we could put a stop here, maybe you're looking to buy it a little bit lower. I don't know, somewhere at the bottom of the opening price of yesterday's candle. You have plenty of room up here if you could get this break above here and above this 200. So for right now, it looks a little choppy. Bitcoin not really doing something too impressive yet. I think small little pullback in Bitcoin would make some sense after the couple days we just had. I'd wait. I'd wait. I think your edge is probably a little bit to the shorter side. You have a lot of support down there, but um, if you want to think bullish, you probably have to get past that 335 zone. Not a huge edge. Mustafa says next catalyst, Santa Claus rally. Yeah, I don't know. September is supposed to be the worst month of a year historically, and we just keep hitting all-time highs on everything. So it's either that Santa Claus rally is happening very early. I don't know. Global warming is messing up our whole system, tracking system. I'm gonna go out and put a Christmas tree up probably this right after I get off the mic today. Yeah, probably this afternoon. I'm gonna go Christmas tree shopping because I'm thinking this is it. Or the Santa Claus rally is gonna be the most impressive rally I've ever seen in my life. We'll we'll have to see, but I don't know what's priced in anymore. AMD, nice little gap up. It is a retest gap from yesterday or Friday. Friday was an inside day as well. And we're opening into a little bit of resistance. You do have, if you could break through, which is a very good resistance, somewhere around 160.26. Your next one up probably takes you to 161.01, and then you got 161.31, 38. The fact that we're all above this one breakdown candle is still pretty fantastic. I think I'd be a buyer off of 158.27 if we get that pullback for today. Otherwise, I don't even know if I want to take that breakout. It would be a very good sign if we close above it. But for today's price action, got two pretty strong levels that are still right above that one. So we'll have to see. I don't know. Yeah, good point though. This is the worst month of the year, so I hope you guys are surviving and making it through because it's been brutal. It's been tough hitting all-time highs. I don't know how that's going to affect the Santa Claus rally, Mustafa. We shall see. But what I do know is that morning bell is about to ring. So everybody on YouTube land, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button if you've not done so already. You guys are incredible, and I'll catch you guys.